Hi everyone, my name is Jessie from Vintage Studio 717, and I'm doing my very first YouTube video on this digital planner, Christmas planner that I made. I did most of it last year and found it super helpful. A few years ago I was diagnosed with ADD, and a planner like this, especially for this season, was immensely helpful last year. So I updated it a bit and it's in my Etsy shop. I designed all of it. All of the images are from vintage cards that I have or found online that I made into digital stamps. And the background is actually an old vintage card that I scanned and has some gilt on it. And the brown is just kind of the paper. And yeah, so I'm really proud of how it turned out. It was a lot of fun to make, and I thought perhaps it would be helpful for other people that also are organizationally challenged. So this kit comes with two different covers. This one is just the title, Christmas Planner. This one has the date, the year, which can be helpful if you want to keep them and keep track of what you did each year. There's two calendars, November and December. I like to have a full page spread because it gives me a good view of the whole month and helps me plan better. I can kind of get some time management stuff going on where I don't realize how much time I have or how little time I have. This page is Christmas traditions and activities, and I just will write down all the traditions that we have or the ones I want to start or activities that we want to do, where it is, and the date, and then I can kind of plan out, which ones are the most important, and I put those on the full big calendar. This is my master to-do list. I broke it into categories: gifts, decorations, baking, and meals, and I will kind of just do a big one for a brain dump where I will just write everything that I need to do in those categories. This one is Christmas to-do list, but it's numbered and with lines. I use this as a priority. Sometimes that's also hard for me to figure out what's the most important based versus what I want to do the most. So then I'll just kind of last year I printed it not every day, but at least once a week, and would write down what is the most important thing I needed to do. And that helped a lot. This is a wish list that I have given to my kids, but you can give to anyone. And it's just helpful to kind of narrow down what are their most important things. My kids are a little too old for Santa, and then I also will give this to the grandparents or family that wants to buy for them. And so it just helps kind of like, these are really important, and these are items that you would like and you wouldn't mind receiving, but they're not as like the top ones that you really want. And then down here, please don't buy these things, I'm just not into them anymore, is helpful for relatives who think your kids are still into things like My Little Pony or Transformers, but they're not. Save some disappointment. We learned that one the hard way. This is the same list, just different photos or images in different fonts. This is a gift list, a master gift list, where I just write down everybody that I want to give something to, even if it's just a card. And that way I just have, know who it is I'm wanting to connect with, even if it's just in a little way. And then I'll just write the totals, which I find helpful, especially for like teachers or coworkers or neighbors, where it's like, how many actual teacher gifts do I need to get? This is similar, but without the totals up top. And again, there's, friends or just other categories, just write them out. Also, I used this last year as a quick place to jot down everybody that I wanted to give a Christmas card to. I have more pages on that later. This is my online shopping tracker, which I found so helpful because sometimes I don't want to have my own login, so I just get the order number, and then if I don't write that down, then I have no way of like tracking it. Or sometimes I'll order things because they're on sale, and then so I have a certain number, and then I have to kind of figure out like who I'm going to give them to. So this just helps me think things through. The arrived is helpful. I feel like packages aren't getting delivered as efficiently as they used to. I think because Amazon is using a lot of flex drivers, which is great, but I have had so many misdelivered packages lately. So this just helps, keep track. Did it actually arrive? This is an individual Christmas present page. So either a family or a child or somebody that you're going to buy more than one gift for. Your ideas, if you want to make anything, a budget, which is helpful. And then when you need to have it all completed by. Then when you actually bought something, what it is and where you hid it. I may or may not have been known to find Christmas presents in February. And then if it's wrapped, if it's mailed or delivered. And for me, all these details just help because I have a hard time estimating how much time will take. So I'll be like, oh yeah, I can wrap them all, in an hour. But if I actually haven't wrapped any of them, I'm able to see, oh, right, it's going to take a lot longer. Stockings, just your ideas and what you actually purchased. And then a budget, if you want to keep track of what you've spent or how much you have left. All of this I found very helpful last year. Similar page, but for projects, whether it's something that you're doing, making, or if it's a decorating thing, but just kind of what your budget is, when you need it, and where the instructions are located. I will often be like, oh, I really want to make that, but I can't remember where I saw it. If it's YouTube, Pinterest, a magazine, who you're going to give this to or what it's for, how many you need. And then this I found helpful for me because it's all the supplies that you need for the project. So write them down, how much you need. And then if you've already owned it, you can check that off. If you don't own it and you need to buy it, you can write it down here. To me, this just made it so much easier to plan. This is a pretty simple menu page, just a breakdown of kind of what we're going to be eating or my thoughts on that. Then more detailed is this baking page, which I often do more cookies than anything else, but it's similar to the project page. So it's the recipe, the date, the location, how many you want to make or who you're going to give them to, and the same thing with the ingredients. What if, what you need, how many if you already have it. And then this is helpful if you have several of these pages, you can kind of then compile it into a separate shopping list. So like if you need 6 eggs for this cookie and 4 for another, you can go shopping all at once, compile everything that you actually need. Instead of a shopping list down here, I have directions because this way you could, write it down and then keep this as a memory, something you want to do every year, or, put it in a December daily, kind of keep it as a way to remember actually what you did make, and it's then all in one place. Here's the Christmas card detail list. Again, I found this very helpful, especially the budget piece, to kind of figure out like, okay, well, how much money do I have? And then, what sort of card should I get? This is the info, whether you're getting an official photo shoot or just having somebody take pictures for you on your iPhone, just to kind of write it all down, when you need it, when you're going to get it done, and when they'll be ready. It's just, again, helpful for planning, because then I can put it into my calendar, and then I have a good idea, like, getting family photos for Christmas cards on December 21st is probably not going to get you cards in time. Then kind of where you want to get it printed, the price, and then coupons, when you need it and when you ordered them, just as a way to keep track. The number of cards you need, if you're going to do photo cards or non-photo cards, if you're going to do a newsletter, and then if you are, what are some information that you want to make sure that you put down? I just find this helpful to jot things down as I'm thinking about it throughout the months, or, well, probably not months, days before I write it, so that I will be like, oh yes, that's what I want to say. I find newsletters to be a bit daunting. And then just the count. How many international stamps do you need? How many domestic stamps? So that when you go to the post office, and you're not overspending or underspending. And then the designated dates that they need to be mailed so that they'll arrive in time. And then this is just Christmas card lists that you can just print as many as you need, and then the name, address, postage you're needing, the date you need it by. And I find this to be so helpful. Do I have the envelope addressed? Do I have a letter inside? Is it stamped and is it mailed? Because I'll tend to do all of this in stages, and then it's like I have half the addresses, so those get mailed, but I don't have these addresses, so they're not mailed yet, or I ran out of ink, so the letters didn't get printed, or I didn't order enough stamps. All of that just helps me keep track. And this is one of my favorite pages. It's just a gratitude list. If you're stressed about something, to write it down and then reframe it. So often I get stressed about money. I don't know if I can afford all of this. And then I reframe with, it's not about the money. It's about the time I'm spending with my family and my kids. And I'm very grateful to have them in my life. And that helps ground me. So this can be something you could do every day if you wanted to kind of help refocus at the end of the day. And that's the last page. This is just a blank page that you can put on the back of any of these if you're doing double pages, or also you can just print a lot of these and then use it for extra notes and things. Yeah, so I hope you like it. It's in my Etsy shop. The link is below. It's all 8.5 by 11 size. Last year I just hole punched it and put it in a binder. This year I actually decided to do more traveler's notebook style, and I folded it all up. The file is all JPEGs, and so I just put them into a Word document and resized them. I didn't try to make it like proportion or anything. I just dropped it into the landscape Word document and then squished them in. And I think it turned out well. For me, this is just a lot about organization and not about, keeping it for forever. I don't even have this one stapled, and yes, I am just going to staple it because if I try to make it elaborate or sew it, I won't get it done. So yeah, this is a size I'm going to try this year. If anyone's interested in the actual PDF of this, I can put that in the Etsy shop too. It's all kind of laid out. These are some note pages that I made for this, and they are not in the actual kit of the planner, but I'm going to add them as an add-on because I made those after I've already uploaded the planner. So these are just some note pages with a few pretty little decorations, images on them, and I think there's 6 of them. Again, I took all these from old vintage Christmas cards or magazines. And these are from cards that were actually sent to my family way back, and I think these were like 1890 maybe, or maybe around then. Yeah, so these will also be in the shop as an add-on. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this. It's fun making a video. I've really enjoyed watching everybody on YouTube for the last couple years that's in this junk journal community. It's been a real even lifesaver for me, very calming and soothing, and just really enjoyable listening to people talk about their creative process and watching them create. And yeah, I'm excited to be more active. All right, until next time, have a good one.